Welcome to the show, everyone. Happy New Year! We're very excited to ring in 2021 because we have a very special guest who is returning to eveRIAthing. And of course, I have a very young co-host with me, Esabella Strickland. Hi, Bella, how are you?
I'm very excited to be hosting this episode.
Why don't you introduce our guest?
Today, on this New Year episode, I would like to introduce Dylan Kingwell. How are you doing, Dylan?
I'm doing fantastic. I would like to wish everyone a very happy New Year and hope that it goes a little better than this one.
Well, looks like you've been doing so well even during the pandemic, Dylan. Welcome back to eveRIAthing. That was 5 years. 2015 when Ria interviewed you. Wow. First of all, thank you, Lisa Warter of Noodlehead Productions, for connecting us, for bringing Dylan back on the show again. Dylan, tell us, how was it the past 5 years? We've been watching you succeed, and we saw your film, but we haven't really chatted.
Well, that's a loaded question. I've taken a lot of big steps in my career, I think, in the past 5 years, and I think more importantly, as a person as well, I've grown a lot, and I've discovered a lot about who I am and, what I want to do with my life and the type of person that I want to be. So it's sort of, 10 to 16, those are sort of those years where a lot of that stuff happens. And it's been, there's been hard times and there's been great times. And I think, acting wise, I've had the pleasure of being involved in some really successful shows, The Good Doctor, Series of Unfortunate Events, The 100, more recently, and The Babysitters Club. I think those are sort of the 4 defining roles that I've had over this time period, and I'm super excited, and I guess I'm just looking forward to the next 5 years.
I know Bella saw 1 or 2 of your movies. What was that again, Bella?
It was Series of Unfortunate Events and The Good Doctor, and I think you did an excellent job in both.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Were they all serious?
Series of Unfortunate Events is kind of a whimsical thing.
Yeah, and The Babysitters Club as well was sort of my first more comedic role, which I actually really enjoyed because it just gave me an opportunity to show that I can do multiple genres,
I'm sure you're very versatile, seeing how talented you are. And I know you're in sports.
Yeah, I heard you do hockey. How has COVID affected that?
Well, it's basically, it's not happening. I mean, just like every major sports league, the NHL, the Professional Hockey League, shut down in March. So that was a little upsetting, but then it did come back and they did have a playoffs and there was a champion. As for my personal hockey, currently we're not allowed to play games. We're just allowed to do practices. It's just we sort of have to take it day by day, just with everything. I miss being able to play regular hockey, but I also prioritize just everyone getting better first, and then before we go back to that.
That's true. It's very nice of you, Dylan. You're very responsible. You're really committed to keeping the community safe. And it's good for everyone to see here that a person as young as Dylan, he's only 16, is already exercising a lot of responsibility because we can't really do it alone.
Whatever it takes, I'm be willing to do. And like you said, it takes everyone to commit to that. So
you play guitar now, and I've heard you sing, and you're in school. How do you manage your day, Dylan?
Well, especially since I'm in the 11th grade now, school is takes up a little more of my time than it used to. Like when I was on your show the first time, I didn't really give a second thought to school once I left, but now it takes a lot more work. So I guess a typical day right now, a typical school day, is I wake up at usually around 7:30 since my school doesn't start until about 8:50, I think, these days. And yeah, I just eat breakfast, get to school. I usually only stay until 11:10 now because we have 1 class in person and 1 class online, and it's a whole different schedule and everything. But then typically once I'm done with school, I spend an additional hour and a half or 2 on homework. And I'm also working on getting my US visa, which is something that requires a lot of work. So yeah, it's really, really busy right now. And on top of that, I'm doing hockey, and there's so much going on. But I think that I just manage it by thinking about how happy I'll be tomorrow that I did it today. You know what I mean? Instead of like putting it off until the next day. So it's a tough mindset to get in, especially in these times. I find it's been really hard to stay motivated. But just thinking of how great it'll be eventually is what I'm trying to do, to do all my work and get it done.
We wanted to know some of the questions your fans have for you.
I get a lot of questions from people regarding how to get started in acting, which I really love to answer for people because I think just having proper guidance is the best thing that you can have when you're starting anything. More so people who have like fan accounts dedicated to shows that I've been in. I get various questions about what it was like to be on this show. There's a million things that people ask, but I think the most common question I get is how to get started in acting. Because there's lots of people who who either have been inspired by me or by someone else to start, or who have wanted to start for a long time and decided to reach out to me. So I think that's my favorite one to answer, because people are always really appreciative of sort of knowing what to do next. You know what I mean? Having a step to take. It gives you a direction and it gives you a purpose. And I think it really helps people to get started with something that they want to do.
You're a spokesperson for the film industry, and it's good that it's coming from someone who actually has experience with success. Like you have close to 420,000 followers on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was your latest film? Was that The Good Doctor then, Dylan?
I think the most recent thing that I had come out was actually The 100. I had a recurring role in season 7 of The 100. Our final day of production was March 14th, and that was lucky because basically everything the next day got canceled. So, it's just crazy because they didn't even plan that. They didn't plan it around COVID. It just so happened that we were set to be done right as sort of everything got shut down. So I guess everyone was thankful for that. It was a long journey for all of them. I was lucky to be able to come in just at the end, and it was a fantastic experience. But that's the most recent thing that's aired.
Do you know if there's any upcoming projects that you're a part of that you'd like to talk about?
I do have one upcoming project. Unfortunately, talking about it is not allowed. But yes, I do have at least one thing coming up for sure in 2021. Hoping to make that more, but I do have something that I'm working on right now.
During this time, how is it auditioning for you? Like, are you doing everything online?
Most auditions right now are taped auditions. I mean, they're not really seeing people in the room. So, for example, what I'm working on right now, my final, I did a taped audition. I sent in a couple tapes, and then my final audition was a Zoom call like this with the director and the creator and some producers. So yeah, it's a change for sure. I've never had a Zoom call with people, with directors and stuff like that. So that was it was a new experience. It was interesting, and I ended up booking the role. So yeah, that's the one that I'm working on right now. So it was just interesting because I had to act and I had to do what I normally do, except instead of them being right there, they were right there. So, just like everything these days, it's different, it's weird, it's scary a little bit, but just trying to make our way through it, I guess.
What's the difference between doing a Zoom interview for your audition and doing live, like in terms of preparation, in terms of delivery?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I think my preparation doesn't change because I still had to perform the scene as I normally would have. So my preparation as far as memorizing lines goes didn't change, but definitely things like, shaking the hand of the director and the producer, like these basic things that a lot of people sort of don't think matters a lot, but it actually really can, and it can make a great impression. And so I think the thing that you could miss out most with doing online auditions is letting them know how you are as a person. Luckily, I was given some time, even over Zoom, to chat with the people that were on the call. So I think that I hopefully got the message across as to what kind of a person I am. Because I think that honestly, that's, the biggest advantage of an actor is, you can show your acting ability online or in person or wherever you are, but it's not always easy to show, are you good to work with? Are you a nice person? Things like that. So I think that that's the biggest struggle and the biggest difference is trying to always make sure that they know what kind of a person you are, because at the end of the day, no matter how great an actor you are, if people don't think that you're, nice or good to work with or something, then they might not hire you. So I think that the biggest difference is just the fact that it's a little harder to show what kind of a person you are.
That's true. The human touch, right? Just talking to you really shows that you are one amazing, amazing person, Dylan. We're so happy that you're very successful, and you're a good role model for our hosts on the show. They're very young, Bella, or one of them, and for those that are following you. And by the way, Bella, did you know that Dylan can play the guitar really well and sing?
Yeah, singing is that's up for debate, but I can play the guitar a little bit.
You are always so gracious and humble. I watch your YouTube where you played the guitar candidly, like just spontaneously right there. And are you self-taught or?
No, I'm in lessons right now. And I, aside from learning from lessons, YouTube is such a great resource for learning. You can almost learn anything online these days for free. It's crazy. So I'm not self-taught. I'm at the point now where I've learned enough about the instrument that I can sort of experiment and, do whatever. So in that way, I guess I'm starting to add my own twists on how I play, which is really exciting because there's a point where it goes from something that you basically have to do it by the book to something that you're good enough at that you can add your own character to it, which is really exciting for me.
Is there any specific message that you think the viewers would want to hear about now?
I think that going into this new year, we've all been through a lot this past year. And, I think that it's just more important than ever now that we all stick together and you remember to tell your family you love them and spend time with your friends in any way you can, whether that's over FaceTime or, socially distanced in person. I just think that it's often easy to lose sight of the things that really matter most because it's so busy these days and everything's changed. But tell your family you love them and reach out to friends that you might not have spoken to in a while, and just keep hope. And if you're struggling, if you're going through something, I mean, we all are right now. But if there's other things going on, just know that those two will pass, and this whole COVID situation will hopefully pass. Well before 2021 ends. So I have a lot of hope going into the new year for myself and for the world. And I think if we all share that hope, then it's going to be a great year.
That was very well said, I must say.
Everything is different these days. It's just there's really nothing in the world that has stayed the same except, I think, what I talked about with your family. And so I think that it's most important that we stay aware of those constants in our lives, whether they're our best friends or our brothers or sisters or parents or uncles or grandparents. I think that those are the people and the things that will always be with you no matter what's going on. So it's really important that we don't lose sight of that despite everything else changing.
Dylan, thank you so much for coming to the show.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Jackie, for having me. This has been a pleasure. And I wanted to make sure everyone would stay safe this year and the upcoming year, and to have positivity and hope, because I do, and it's just a great thing to have. So make sure to stay smiling and stay safe and stay happy.
And I couldn't have had a better co-host today. You are amazing. Stay as lovely. And again, thank you, Dylan, for joining us on the show. Thank you, Bella, for co-hosting with me.
Take care. So lovely to see you.
Okay, well, Happy New Year, everyone. We're ringing in 2021, and we couldn't be luckier to have Dylan with us. We're wishing you the best this year. Bye for now.
Bye.
Take care. Bye all.
Stay safe.